Future Proof is sponsored by Concordia Dental Healthcare, expert care you can trust.
Hello and welcome back to Future Proof. Thank you for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I continue this interview with Mikhail Bojnovic. Is that right?
Mikhail Bojnovic.
Yeah, that's it.
Close enough.
That one. He is known as Mike, but I'm very, very respectful of names because your name, my name, it's the most precious thing that we'll ever hear. So I think we have to be very, very respectful of people's names. And in the first half, anyway, we were talking about emotional intelligence and its place in the workforce, and also how Mike, who he likes to be called Mike, uses it with his clients designing websites. But I wanted to start off by asking you, when you arrived in the UK 13 years ago, could you speak English?
No, not at all really. All I could say was hello, thank you, and bye. Yeah. And that was that really. That was the knowledge of, that was my knowledge of English language, yeah.
But you learnt German at school, didn't you?
I did, yes. Since then, that just went out of my head, yeah. I think English kind of pushed it out.
So, I think your story of how you educated yourself and taught yourself English is inspiring. And if you could think of the can-do attitude and apply it to something else, then do grab it as something inspirational to spur you on, whatever you're struggling with. So, arrived in the UK, can't speak the language, no money really to speak of. What did you do?
Well, like you just said, because there was no money, so I didn't have money to spend on, language school. So what I did, I spent £30 at Asda on a small TV. It was the cheapest telly they had. I also spent £15 on a Freeview box, again from Asda, and I started watching telly.
But you didn't just watch the telly, you made sure that there were...
Subtitles, indeed, yeah. Subtitles, because that meant that at the same time I was learning how to speak English, I was also learning how to read and write English.
I mean, how innovative is that? I think it's absolutely fantastic.
It's the cheapest way to learn English.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So how long did it take you before you felt you could confidently kind of walk the streets and vaguely kind of interact and not struggle? What was the time frame?
It's hard to think back, but I reckon within the first year I was able to express myself, so I was able to have a sort of basic conversation with people. There was still a lot of that, oh, could you repeat that, or could you say it differently? But I think that after 2 years, I think I was pretty good. I was able to, have a conversation with people about on different subjects.
I mean, listening to him now, I just think, language school, it's just fantastic. And also, of course, these days you can Google all these things now, and there's so much on Google that, they cut right across the education system in many, many ways. So, artificial intelligence, machine learning, what does that mean to you? Because I know you've got some knowledge on it.
Well, artificial intelligence to me is very exciting indeed. Because basically it is coming, there's no stopping it, it will happen at some point. To get to the point, what's called general artificial intelligence, which is basically artificial intelligence that can mimic or replicate the way human brain works. So it's the reaction, it's perceiving the emotions and things like that, which at the moment artificial intelligence can't do. So at the moment where we are is what's called narrow artificial intelligence or weak artificial intelligence. And basically it's mainly based on machine learning. So we feed it data. So as a perfect example would be Google artificial intelligence when it comes to search engine results. It can recognize images of cat or dog or even different persons. Facebook is brilliant at this, that they can sometimes tag you in a photo without you actually saying it's you.
Yeah, that's right. And that's machine learning.
That's machine learning, yeah, indeed.
But the robots, I think, the AI is being able to recognise, for example, happy, sad and emotions like that. But of course, all that very often is linked to the programmer, or it's linked to whatever information is being fed. So, for example, would artificial intelligence spot a fake smile? or we could all pull an angry face, and if we, so at the moment I don't know, we're not experts on this, that the machine can say that is an angry face, or the person you're speaking to is angry, where in fact they could be pretending to be angry or pretending to be happy. So I think it's there, but it can't do it real time, as in pick up the emotions and the energy in the room as well.
It can't anyway, because the thing is, at the moment, machine learning is basically learning by us feeding it data, whereas if it's a human interaction, you can tell if someone's lying by the color of their skin, by their body language, by the tone of their voice, and it's really difficult to train a machine to be able to do that.
Yeah, but what they have done, and we do know this, is they have already now started to train machines that are running up and down stairs and things to actually correct their balance, not fall over and get back up again, but they're learning to correct. But it is all algorithms, isn't it? And you talked about narrow and weak artificial intelligence. What about the deep artificial intelligence? What's that?
Well, deep artificial intelligence is basically like machine artificial intelligence. We still need to give it some data to get started, but after that it can actually learn by trial and error. It's like we learn by mistakes.
Yes.
It can also learn that way, so it's sort of like the second step. I mean, deep artificial intelligence as well as machine learning, it's all part of the artificial intelligence. And we need both of those aspects to actually reach the singularity.
Just to clarify that machine learning, and I like the example of Google and face recognition, is if Google sees enough pictures of you where your name is being put to it, then it will then anticipate the next time a picture comes up without even you tagging yourself, because it has learnt that is what you look like, and that's the name that goes with that picture. Michael, if anybody wants to contact you and find out more about who you are and what you do, what are your contact details?
Well, you can reach me through my website, which is mb-sites.com, or my email, mike@mb-sites.com.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I'm sure we've got the odd prospective nerd who is now watching, just thinking, I want to be a nerd moving forwards. How do I become a nerd? How would you advise somebody who's sat there thinking, this guy's great. He's got some energy about him. I want to be like him. What would you say to them?
I think the main thing, what really defines being a nerd is the thirst for knowledge. You have to think outside the box. Nothing is impossible, even though it feels impossible today. It doesn't necessarily mean it won't be possible tomorrow. So it's about thinking outside of the box.
And I think also you were talking about being brave, and you said something quite poignant about the first step. To anything that we do, there's always a first step, and I love what you said about the first step. Can you remember? I can remind you if you want.
Please do.
Yeah, okay. You were saying the first step usually is not the easiest.
That's right, yes. Yeah, the first step is never the easiest, simply because as humans we don't like to fail. We like to accomplish something, and we sometimes have this feeling that if we fail within the first step, it's a fail full stop, but it isn't. It's trial and error. It's learning from our mistakes. So you always have to start with the first step. If you don't do the first step, you're not going to get anywhere.
No, that's right. And also failure, and I've said this before about failure shows that you're actually making progress. We cannot grow, we cannot achieve if we're not failing. So if there's risk, if there's failure, then be excited. And then I think it is that key word, and it's come up many times in other interviews, is that word resilience. You cannot take that first step, trip and fall, fail. You will definitely be criticised, get some barriers and what have you. You can't push through those if you don't have courage or resilience. And where do you think you get your strength from?
I honestly think the main point in my life was when I came to England. Didn't speak any English. And it was just sort of like starting from scratch, like starting a new life. And I think that was the thing, because I've accomplished certain things already. I've learned the language, I've got to know people, managed to have proper conversations and all that, start a business. I think that's what gave me the confidence that can do pretty much anything.
Really, really good to hear from you, Michael. Thank you so much. And what I love too is, you know, if you're not feeling brave enough to step out as a person, anybody, then usually it's because we haven't found a compelling enough reason to actually do it. For you arriving with no money, no food, can't speak the language, there's only one way to go, and that is to develop and learn, and if you like, to get yourself up on the steps. So if you're struggling some way, find a pain point where you can create a compelling enough reason. When you leave yourself little option, you don't give yourself an option out. If you've got no option out, you've got nowhere to go but forward, taking that first step. So be brave and be hopeful.